What's going on, everybody? My name is Monday Matt. No, my name is not Monday Matt. My name is FS, and this is going to be a hopefully short and quick review of these figures that you can see right here, that I just stacked up here. I'm gonna review them part by part. Ahsoka Tano and Darth Vader. They come in just as these two guys come in one pack, and this comes in one pack. This is Captain Picard from Star Trek The Next Generation. He's just here for reference. But as these, just like these packs here, Darth Vader and Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars Rebels come in one pack. So yeah, so I'm gonna review each pack individually, basically, and I gotta keep a faster pace because I just uploaded a review of the new Division album and it was 22 minutes long, and it took YouTube 17 hours. 17 hours to upload it. 17 hours. So I literally started like uploading it in the evening, like waited 3 or 4 hours, did something else, then went to bed, and when I woke up it still wasn't finished. But anyway, so I need to like talk a little more poignant, more to the point, more concisely. One flaw of these figures is that they tip over very easily, at least the Ahsoka Tano figure. But this is actually a product which is old. I picked this up on a flea market for 12 euros. This is obviously from Star Wars Episode 1. This ugly character here from the Trade Federation, the most racist and stupid and pointless character ever, but I still had to buy it because of Raja. I mean, obviously I'm not a big fan of the prequels, but the Clone Wars really redeemed the prequels to me. I mean, the Clone Wars is like the prequels, only good. And I just saw this and I had to buy it because in the Clone Wars the battle droids are funny as fuck and they're comic relief, and I just find them hilarious. So I had to get one just out of pure hilarity or hilariousness, whatever. So let's start out with reviewing the Ahsoka Tano and Darth Vader action figures. Obviously they come in this pack in reference, in homage to the grandiose and very mysterious action-packed series finale of the third season of Rebels, or it was the second season, I can't remember right now, which all had us in goosebumps, and we were wondering, oh my god, is Ahsoka alive? Is she dead? Etc, etc. So they obviously had to reference that by selling these two together. So I actually like the Ahsoka figure better than the Darth Vader figure, because the Darth Vader figure, you get more of a feeling of this is a toy, which technically they're both toys, but it's just one solid piece of black plastic, whereas with the Ahsoka figure you've got more, as you can see, got her clothings, you've got these markings, the detail is amazing. You've got these little lines here on her ass. You've got these golden plates here on her arms. You've got the lightsabers, of course. You've got the paintings, her, markings, her tattoos on her face, the eyes, the lips, everything just looks pretty accurate. She's more agile than the Darth Vader figure. Like with Darth Vader figure, the legs aren't that maneuverable because you've got this cloth here in the front, which though it looks like cloth, it looks like leather, but it's extremely solid. And then you've got his coat, obviously, which further makes him more not maneuverable. So they made it look as if it's soft cloth by, putting all these lines here to make it look more plastic, like, and to make it look as if it's, as if it's flowing in the wind or whatever. But to me, the result is, if you look up close, you quickly realize that, it's just not that. it's simply it's hard, solid plastic. Of course, you've got, which is awesome, you've got all the little details with his buttons and his belt and everything, and his mask, and you've got his lightsaber, obviously. Let me see if I can focus in a little further. It's pretty amazing that, even though it's so small, they made all these little details on the hilt pretty accurate, so that's pretty cool. Generally, Darth Vader is pretty shiny. You've got little lines and folding, just like the cape is made to look as if it's soft folded cloth. It's his arms are, it's the same here. They made it look as though it's folded leather, so it's pretty accurate. Like, it's not Hasbro's fault that it just, from far away or whatever, it just looks like one solid black piece of plastic. That's just, Darth Vader's outfit just is like that. He is black and dark and shiny, so shiny leather, shiny plastic, whatever. So it's accurate. Even in real life, quote unquote, Ahsoka Tano would be a little more diverse to look at, just purely from a design standpoint, if you will. So yeah, so that's that. And like I said, Darth Vader is less agile here, or this figure is less agile, because you not only have his cape, you also have this under cape, so to speak, here, which covers his trousers. So he basically has three levels of clothing, and okay, you can move it a little bit, but it's not that agile. And obviously this is from Star Wars Rebels, so his face he's got that long design, it's a little different than what you see in the movies. It's his face, his mask is longer, and his eyes look more like insectoid, I don't know. But and here he's better than Ahsoka in that respect. You can tilt his head 360 all the way around. So, and like I said, you've got the detail on his his belt, this protection here, like, which the Jedi have in Clone Wars and Count Dooku has in the prequels, and then later Darth Vader has it, so to speak. That's pretty accurate. And like I said, the buttons, his belt buckle, the buttons on his belt in general, the buttons on his chest are pretty amazing. And like I said, the detail of his awesome lightsaber also pretty amazing. But with Ahsoka, like I said, you've got details here on her ass. You've got different levels of clothing. You've got different, carved in lines here. Her shoes stand out. You've got different tones of color, like these different yellows and greens and browns and ochre. And here there's a pretty strident brown color. This green color is different from that one, and from that one there's more ochre and yellow. Like I said, you've got these gold patches here, which are immediately flanked by these brown colors here. I already showed you her face, so that's, her face is pretty a beautiful face. With the eyes, the eyelashes, her lips, her expression just looks pretty realistic to me. Her headband, her markings on her face, her her tentacles or whatever that is. But of course, due to the tentacles, her head is less agile than the one of Darth Vader. So there's one negative point. But her arms go all the way around. Her feet are a little more agile. I mean, she has this skirt here, but which here you can see. Like obviously here you can see the joints, like where the legs join the the buttocks. So there the illusion that this could be a real person breaks, and you can see that it's actually just a toy or a figure. But still, it's if you look at it from the front, I think it's pretty accurate, pretty okay. You can see the lines of the joint here, but apart from that, it's pretty accurate. It's very, very faithful to the series. It looks very realistic. Like I said, even here in the front, you've got these little lines of her skirt, all the different colors. This is another level of clothing, so to speak. So there's just more color, different levels of clothing, more applications, more pieces than with Darth Vader, I think. Still, both figures are awesome, but I just like the Ahsoka figure more. And one of her lightsabers, I just lost the other one, is tilted just like it is in the series. So that's pretty cool. And I don't know what else to say. Yeah. By the way, you can see how small they are. This is my hand, so in comparison to that, they're pretty small. These figures, they're like 10-11 centimeters, which is about 4 inches. That's why I brought Captain Picard here from Star Trek The Next Generation. You can already see that, these Star Wars Rebels figures are not your average action figure height. So they're a little smaller, as you can see here. But yeah, now let's go over to the Rune Harko with bonus battle droid pack from Star Wars Episode 1. Like I said, I picked this up on a flea market for 12 euros, and I just didn't make the mistake of cutting the box open, because I mean, this is 20 years old and it's probably pretty, maybe, I don't know, I'm not a professional collector, but maybe it'll increase in worth, or it's pretty valuable now. So I just left it that way. And it seems to me that these figures are still smaller than Mr. Jean-Luc Picard over here, but larger than Ahsoka Tano. Whoopsie daisy. Wop wop wah wah wah. So now let's look at them close up, if it's even possible, because the fucking camera won't let me really do close-ups. But as you can see here, even though, like I said, I don't like this Rune Harko character, and just like everyone, I think this race is racist. The species is a caricature of, the most racist thing you'll ever meet. But still, I like the sculpt of this figure is awesome. I mean, if you compare this to the Darth Vader figure, I think his clothes, even though they're just with the Darth Vader figure, it's not really soft cloth here. It's just as with Darth Vader, it's plastic as well. But on this Rune Harko guy, it looks perfect. It looks absolutely realistic. You don't get the impression that this is just a stiff, hard, solid piece of plastic that was just folded and made to look as if it was soft. As with Darth Vader, you immediately get that impression, but with this guy, you get the impression that it's really soft clothing. So that's pretty awesome. And also, you've the details on his face, like the little lines and the sculpt, the carvings, the painting. I mean, yeah, pretty awesome detail work. If you look up close, he has 2 layers of clothing, and you've got this pattern here, these dots and these lines on this under layer. And on the top layer as well, you've got this sewn pattern that makes it look extra realistic. And like I said, on his arms here it looks folded, so more realistic than on Darth Vader. So that's pretty cool. And I don't know, is this from... Yeah, these, even though this is 20 years old, it's from Hasbro, just like the Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars The Force Awakens figures. So yeah, just to let you know. I don't know how big this is, probably also 4, 5, 6 inches maybe. Now let's look at the droid. One thing you'll notice, I mean, on the droid, you got, you know, all these lines here. He's got a black gun with him. On his joints, his arms, all these, you know, technicalities, all these cables and connections, and it looks fucking awesome. But one thing you'll notice is on the back, what the fuck? Yeah, here. One thing you'll notice is that the battle droid that is shown on the back is way more weathered and way more detailed. I mean, what the fuck, man? This is that's how it's supposed to look. You've got it's weathered, and the lines that are only quote unquote carved in here and just stand out because of the shadows, they are actually painted with black here on this image, so you can see it even more detailed. So this black painting is completely absent on the actual figure, but theoretically I could just fill that in by just applying a little black wherever these carved in lines are, and you know, it would just stick, it would just be perfect, you know. He has 3 fingers, I just realized that, so it's pretty non-human. And like I said, you've got these connections here, these cables or these mounts, I don't know how you call that. You've got all these shapes and rectangles shapes and different levels of gear, basically, that make it look technical. You've got, you know, all these rectangles, all these recesses, all these raisings. The color is a very bright ochre, yet dull and matte. I don't know how accurate that is to the screen used CGI models, but I like this model very much. See all these shapes and forms and joints here that handles and pipes that make it look realistic. I think that's pretty fucking awesome. But let's move on to our last model in question, Captain Almost No Screen Time Phasma, from The Force Awakens, obviously. So immediately you recognize how awesome this model looks, but obviously it is quite shiny, at least it appears to be, but it's clearly not chrome. I mean, if you look at the actual costume that, you know, the actress wore, it's extremely shiny, it's white, it's reflective material, it's actual chrome, it's actual metal or whatever. So of course they couldn't do that well. At least maybe they could have painted this or spray painted this with a more reflective material, like silver or silver-like substance, chrome-like substance, or actual chrome, but that would of course be too fucking expensive. But if I look at it that way, especially her helmet looks quite reflective and quite, maybe, I don't know, rusty, quite metally if I look at it through the camera, but in reality it's pretty much plastic, and you recognize it as such immediately. But still, I think this figure is awesome. It comes with this sort of I don't know, with this toy here that I'm never gonna use. And one thing I'll notice is that this is actual cloth here. So in contrast to the Darth Vader figure here, where they just made it look as though it's draped, sewn, knitted soft cloth, they actually used one. And just like with the Rune Hako figure over here, where you've got all these little patterns and seams, and where it makes it actually look as though it's actually sewn or knitted together. This figure does a very, very good job of making it look as if it is a sewn or knitted, draped, soft piece of cloth or piece of clothing. And you know, we've got all these patterns in here, and you know, I don't see any patterns here, but still I think it looks, this piece of cloth looks more realistic and more accurate, you know, screen accurate, than Darth Vader's sort of pseudo clothing here. So that's pretty fucking awesome. She's got her gun here with her, which looks pretty fucking awesome. But you've got, you know, you've got the chest piece here, you've got all these little lines here and rectangular shapes, the boxes that, you know, add to the functionality, and all, you know, the individual, the shoulder piece and all these individual pieces and plates that the armor is made of. They even made it look as though, like, you know, the material that's underneath there is actually folded and, you know, has all these little, you know, foldings. So that's pretty awesome. And one thing that came to my mind is, with all action figures, of course, at some point you lose the realism when you have, you know, like breaks in here where obviously the arm is fixed to the body, which real humans, real beings obviously don't have this kind of break here, you know. Within real humans, it flows over seamlessly between all the little joints and extremities. Obviously you can't do this with most action figures, but with Captain Phasma, due to the fact that her armor consists of individual pieces, in real life, even the real costume obviously has different, you know, breaks in between and different seams in between the individual pieces. It distracts you from the fact that this is not a real human. It distracts you from the breaks. So I really can't complain that the extremities, the joints, don't flow over seamlessly, because in real life her real costume doesn't do that either. So yes, that's pretty awesome that they stay faithful to that. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, man. Especially the helmet looks really good on camera, really reflective and shiny, and with all these little lines here. And yeah, that's pretty fucking awesome. I don't know what else to say, man. Yeah, I guess that's it.